Testing, testing. All right, I have successfully removed my head from my own tushy, and boy, is the air fresher. All right. So, I had two exciting brainstorms, one during last night's meditation class and the second this morning in preparation for this morning's practice. So I just only had so much time, and I decided that instead of setting up the practice formally, making it all look sharp and professional, I would spend my time and energy jotting down the practice so we could play with it during this morning's class. And so for the amateurishness and the tardiness of this class, I do apologize. So what I'd like to do right now is, quick like a bunny, set up my secondary mic, just in case I get a TikTok brainstorm halfway through class. Happens once in a while. Okay. Let's see.
Operations in the world. Issue new identity document.
There we go. Quick like a bunny. Setting up the green screen. Okay, I think we're good to go. Now all I have to do is gingerly place the second phone in its holder. Okay, there we go. Well, cowabunga. Whew. So, if memory serves correctly, I promised to do a specific lesson this morning. And I think it was, yes, I remember what it was right now. So, I guess I should do first things first. So, I'm going to tap button 3. This is Lama Jigme Gyatso of the Buddha Joy Meditation School. Welcome to Meditate Like a Jedi. This is the Lama you are looking for. This morning we will chant and meditate and enjoy a lesson or two. But first, ouch, tendinitis. If you love Star Wars, and you wish to meditate as transformatively as Luke Skywalker learned to do under the guidance on Dagobah, under the guidance of Yoda, be sure to subscribe and ring that notification bell. Ting! Okay. So I'm going to tap button number 5, and there's going to be a moment of chaos. And I'm going to, let's see here, I'm going to tap the lesson button and hopefully find understanding the Tao. And there we go, because some people may have signed up for this a week ahead of time, and I don't want to cheat them. So let's review the first chapter of the Tao Te Ching. Oh, there we go. Okay. So we're working with the translation, a subtle adaptation of the translation offered by Rosemary Anderson. I think that's her name. And so far, this is my favorite version. The Tao that can be told is not the everlasting Tao. The name that can be named is not the everlasting name. Convention dictates that a book about the Tao would begin with explanations and definitions. But time and again, this book explains the way as not controlling but laid back. By refusing to begin with explanations and definitions, the author uses frustration as a tool to reveal the reader's own controlling tendencies. Mwahahaha. Nameless is the virgin of all things, named is the mother of all things. Patriarchal culture treasures a virgin woman more than it does one who has given birth. Thus, it is inferred that being so laid back as to refrain from labeling is superior to being so controlling that one would obscure one's ignorance through the deceptive use of labels. And thus, a dichotomy is introduced. Free of desire, we see subtleties. Not free, we see only things. The dichotomy is further explored by contrasting the benefits of being liberated from the tyranny of desire with the consequence of being desire's puppet. These two are the same, it arises too. Lao Tzu now collapses the dichotomy through the brilliant use of a vague non-duality, further exciting our resistance to confusion. A oneness called dark, dark beyond dark, is the door to all subtleties. The ultimate meaning of this first poem is now revealed. The key that opens the door, comprehending all that is unknown or dark, is found not in approaching our ignorance actively, yang or light, but passively, yin or dark. Ironically, the antidote to the darkness of ignorance is the darkness of passivity, of centered spontaneity. This centered spontaneity is a byproduct, a fringe benefit of relaxing into the non-graspable nature of awareness through the use of slogans such as "notice this" and "relaxing." We shall explore that in greater detail in a few moments. Now, let's see. If I'm a super... So once again, this is slapdash because the time that I was going to use spending... the time that I was going to spend setting up, I spent writing. So let's continue. I'm going to tap button 6, which should be a hot mess. Oh, look, it's not. How nice. Okay, so what I'd like to do is spend approximately 15 seconds on housekeeping. If there are lessons you'd like to request, or if you simply wish to support the continued availability of these classes, there is a Patreon link in the description area below the video. And now, at long last, let's jump into this morning's practice. So I guess I should tap button 9 and see what pops up. So I'm going to make an adjustment. I'm going to tap a button and access drop-down menu. And here we go. Medicinal meditation. Dun, dun, dun. So excited. Can't stand myself. So, I'm going to give you a wee bit of explanation. Okay. A good-hearted fellow who had sat for three retreats regaled me with his frustrated efforts to find an elusive form of powa, or transference of consciousness, that helped him to temporarily transfer his consciousness into someone else's body to facilitate greater diagnosis and healing of ailments that heretofore the individual's doctors had been unable to treat. Because energy work or spiritual healing is always an adjunct to Western medicine and never a replacement. A hack or a workaround, I received a hack or a workaround in the form of a brainstorm during last night's class and during last night's meditation, and it returned to me this morning, and so I decided to type it up. This is distinctly user-friendly and idiot-proof. Let's begin by training our neural pathways for love and enthusiasm with a recitation of bodhicitta and refuge. May I liberate all beings by relying on the Buddha's example, instructions, and students. May I liberate all beings by relying on the Buddha's example, instructions, and students. May I liberate all beings by relying on the Buddha's example, instructions, and students. We are now going to perform a recitation designed to invite the real or imagined subtle energies to coalesce at the crown of our head. We do that through practice known as calling the Lama from afar. So the Lama here can refer to one's literal teacher of flesh, blood, and bones. It can refer to the idea of an imaginary teacher, such as the Buddha himself, or it can refer to, metaphorically, just the teachings themselves. Whatever you feel comfortable with, that's fine. We're going to chant this 3 times. And I'm going to put some diacritical markings down to make it easier for you to chant. That's my intention, at least. I like idiot-proof chanting, otherwise it gets too elitist. I'm reminded of a line from a Simon and Garfunkel song, songs that voices never share. And when I first heard that, probably in junior high, what brought to mind was the idea that some songs are written for virtuosos to sing, which means the everyday folk like me and you are out in the cold. So this is the opposite of that. This is an easy, user-friendly chant, where it's basically a monotone except for the first syllable and the second to the last syllable. So let's chant this now 3 times. O Lama. So by the way, we don't have to actively visualize, we don't have to believe, we don't have to emote. If all we do is chant these words, it's been my experience that just chanting the words is enough to influence the subtle energies in our bodies. The question is not whether they are there or not, or whether there's an effect or not, but whether we are perceptive or not enough to feel it. Now, not everybody is perceptive. That's neither an indictment nor a acquittal. It just is. It's like wiggling your ears. Some can, some can't. It's not an indictment. It's not an acquittal. O Lama, please come to this crown and aid my training in awareness and letting go. O Lama, please come to this crown and aid my training in awareness and letting go. O Lama, please come to this crown and aid my training in awareness and letting go. We're going to jump out of sequence for a moment. So we're going to sample resting the mind in the nature of the non-graspable nature of awareness. Now, the reason we're skipping ahead to this is that it helps to acquaint us with our subtle anatomy. Now, I'm not talking about channels, winds, and drops, or chakras, or groovy things like that. I'm just talking about the subtle effects of inhalation and exhalation. The key to mindfulness is to silently and mentally recite "notice this" during our enthusiastic inhalations. The key to meditation is to mentally recite "relaxing" during our mentally reset, relaxing during our exhalations. Now, an intelligent question would be, why is that? Glad you asked. Ask a neuroscientist, they'll tell you during every inhalation we access the sympathetic nervous system ensconced within the thoracic region of our spinal cord. Doing so, well, this sympathetic nervous system is wired to access the sensory acuity that helps us to notice such things as sensations, flavors, scents, sounds, sights, and the like, as well as emotions, intentions, thoughts, memories, and imaginings. Now, it's a mistake to try to concentrate on these things, so that makes us rigid, and that indulges our controlling tendencies, so instead, we just notice these things vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, spontaneously, and as such, we need not, the only label we need ever use is simply the pronoun this. But, you might ask, what are we going to do with all the stuff that we notice? Every time we exhale, we inadvertently access the parasympathetic nervous system, ensconced in both our lumbar spinal cord as well as its cervical counterpart. It is wired to help us physically relax as well as mentally release. What are some of the things we could wind up releasing? We could notice ourselves releasing our habitual resistance to the presence of stuff we hate, the absence of stuff we crave, and the loss of that to which we cling. Our job in the Buddha's path is not to eradicate hating and craving and clinging, for that would just be more hating, but instead to make peace with them, so that although they are there, they no longer yank our chain. They no longer control our choices or utterances or deeds. They're just there in the background like ambient music. So here's the funny thing. We don't have to force ourselves to notice as we inhale. We are already wired to do so. We do not have to force ourselves to relax as we exhale. We are already wired to do so. Well then, you might ask, why are we performing these slogans and this meditation and mindfulness? And the answer is to align our intention with our metaphorically factory installed wiring. Doing so will make our life more rich and will also prepare us for our next contemplation. So let's just get into the groove right now. Let's try this, I don't know, maybe for 16 breaths. Now that we're comfortable with noticing and relaxing in harmony with our inhalations and exhalations, we can apply this newfound coordination to our this morning's primary contemplation. So boy, I think it was way back 3 decades ago, more than 3 decades ago, I was first introduced to the therapeutic application of non-duality, which says very highfalutin, but here's how it works. Whatever we notice during our in-breath, we can let go of during our out-breath. So, for instance, I'm thinking about one of my neighbors, a good-hearted fellow who is struggling with colon cancer. He's under a doctor's care and all that kind of good stuff. My role is purely as an adjunct, but I'm referring to him with the pronoun he. That's the pronoun he's comfortable with. Any pronoun will work. And I'm going to use my pronoun, me, in this case. So he and me, how not to. Well, this isn't Star Trek, and there isn't some grotesque transporter accident. During our inhalation, we seem like two very separate, distinct individuals. However, as we exhale, we feel that it's possible to let go of him, and it's possible to let go of myself. And we could say that as we inhale, we're able to be mindful of our duality, and as we exhale, we release that duality. We don't have to believe anything. We're just relaxing into the very fact is, if I experience my non-graspability and his non-graspability, then our common denominator, to borrow a term from math, is non-graspability. Even if that non-graspability is an illusion, it's an illusion we share together that helps us to let go of perceived differences, thus setting the ground for greater connection with the person I want to send healing blessings to, and greater perception of their needs, if not consciously, then perhaps unconsciously. And so for you can use whatever pronoun you need for anyone in your life, real or imagined, who is ill right now. And if there's no one in your life who is ill right now, first of all, congratulations, that's very nice. Your friends and family must be very fortunate. But you could just replace the word he with all. All beings on this world and all worlds, real or imagined. So let's dig in. We can now rest the mind in the non-graspable nature of awareness. Now let's contemplate medically wishing love. There's acting love and there's wishing love. Acting love would be things such as kind communication, kind conduct, kind commerce. Wishing love would be the second fold of the Eightfold Path. And on the in-breath, we are wishing profound health. And on the out-breath, we're wishing its recipient be for all forms. So form is just a fancy word for body. Now, why give it to all forms? Isn't that squanderous? It would seem so. But it is taught in Buddhism that the very act of wishing others well generates very positive energy. And so the greater the scope of our well wishes, the greater the positive energy we generate. And so the very great, delicious irony of Buddha's manifesting is this. By wishing profound health for all bodies of all beings of all worlds, real or imagined, we generate much, much more energy than we ever would for just one person, including the person we may be sending healing energy to. So let's play with this right now. This also not only trains us in love, it trains us in non-neurotic love. It's much, spiritually speaking, if you don't want to get stuck in further indulging our controlling tendencies of shoving and reaching and clinging, then you want to master loving non-neurotically. And this, my friends, fits the bill. Profound health for all forms. Let's knock out 16 or 17 repetitions. And as you probably anticipated, we're going to return to resting the mind in the non-graspable nature of awareness. And that's, if we were running on a track, we would have lapped ourselves by now. So let's return to love and enthusiasm. May I liberate all beings by writing on the moon as example, instructions, and students. What's loving? The wish to liberate all beings. What's enthusiastic? The reliance upon the Buddha's example, instructions, and students. May I liberate all beings by writing on the Buddha's example, instructions, and students. May I liberate all beings by writing on the Buddha's example, instructions, and students. Again, let us call the Lama from afar, inviting our energy to gather at our crown. O Lama, please come to this crown and aid my training in awareness and letting go. O Lama, you know what, just for shits and giggles, I think it could be fun if first I reveal the editing marks, and then second, I copied this bad boy and pasted it right here. Okay, so I want to make sure that everything's copacetic, and let's continue. O Lama, please come to this crown and end my training in awareness and letting go. O Lama, please come to the, let's see. I think I'm going to replace the word the with this. T-H-I-S, Control S, okay. O Lama, please come to this crown and aid my training in awareness and letting go. Fabulous. And now, let's contemplate further unifying ourselves with all beings we wish to, of all beings whose health we wish to improve. Now, if we are trying to heal all beings everywhere because we're insanely ambitious, we could replace the word he with all and replace the phrase how not to with not many. So let's see if I can't fit that on the screen. I'm going to hit copy and I'm going to hit paste. I'm going to hit all, or type all, and not many. And you'll notice I try to keep the exhalation down to 3 syllables because I'm funny that way. Let's see if it fits on the screen. Not quite. So let's remove that. Let's replace that and just half it in size. Let's drop that from 18 points to 9 points. Let's do that up here as well. And we're going to get rid of the editing marks so as not to give anybody a headache. And delightfully ambitious, is it not? So now let us return to resting the mind in the nature, the non-graspable nature of awareness. Come, let us contemplate wishing love. And once again, let us let go. Letting go is the engine that drives our meditation. Let us contemplate non-duality. Let us once again relax, rest the mind in the non-graspable nature of awareness. As we breathe in, we open wide the gates of our mind, allowing to whatever come up to come up. Whether it is external or internal, physical or mental, pleasurable or painful, interesting or boring, glorious or grotesque. And as we exhale, we allow our body and mind to relax and release whatever we just experienced. And now let us contemplate universal love. And again, let's rest the mind in the non-graspable nature of awareness. Let's return to the beginning of the practice and perform a silent version of bodhicitta and refuge, which I think could be fun. But then I'm a big old weirdo. What do I know? Let's see. I'm going to hit copy, and we're going to advance a page, and I'm going to hit paste. I'm going to advance 2 more pages. I'm going to grab a template and slap my thing down to reference the first Men in Black movie. Okay, un momento. Here we go. Okay. So what is the triple jewel? It sounds like a horse racing term, doesn't it? Triple jewel is a sort of a shorthand for Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. And Buddha, Dharma, Sangha is a metaphor for relying upon the Buddha's example, instructions, and students. So this is a metaphor of a metaphor. Welcome to Dharma Inception. And now we're going to perform a silent version of Kalyan Lama from afar, because we're goofy that way. I'm going to hit copy and advance and paste. Let's see, uno, dos. Let's go over here. Copy, advance, and paste. Now, make things less confusing. There we go. Okay, let's make sure that the display is still synchronized and remove the editing marks. Let us contemplate medical non-duality. Let us return to resting the mind in the nature of take two, resting the mind in the non-graspable nature of awareness. Let us contemplate medical love. Again, we're going to rest the mind in the non-graspable nature of awareness. But this time we're going to do it monosyllabically as opposed to polysyllabically. Because we've been doing this for more than 30 minutes. And it's a useful thing to do. We are going to return to our medicinal non-duality, but we're going to do so monosyllabically. Do bear with me. And let's hit paste. And I think it may be much more efficient if I just cut this bad boy, or copied this bad boy. Okay, here we go. Again, let's rest the mind in the non-graspable nature of awareness. Okay, let's contemplate, let's monosyllabically contemplate medical love or medicinal love. So what we're doing, ironically, is we're taking our capacity for greed and transforming it into love, which I think is pretty cool. Because of the four fundamental desires of sustenance, health, love, and prestige, if you ain't got health, you ain't got nothing. Let's return to resting the mind in the non-graspable nature of awareness. I'm going to take a moment to set my tuchus upon a cushion. Ah, that's better. Okay. Let us contemplate medicinal non-duality. Let's rest the mind.
There.
Now let us contemplate medical love. Let us contemplate medicinal non-duality. Let us rest the mind. There is a credit card that was popular in the 70s, carte blanche. And it was just a credit card, but it came to mean anything goes. And that's what the word this means. Anything goes. Whatever we experience, we notice it, and then we make peace with it as we exhale. And for our final contemplation, how's about a little health? Let's seal a practice with 2 chants, beginning with the ethics of kindness. May all beings practice of kind communication. Take 2. I forgot an apostrophe. Oh, the embarrassment of it all. Okay. May all beings practice of kind communication, conduct, and calmness for spontaneous and uncontrived. Let us conclude by lovingly chanting the 4 immeasurables. May everyone be free from stress, may everyone be happy, may no one be separated from the happiness. May everyone have balance from the tyranny of hating, craving, and clinging free. If you feel I have earned it, do be so kind as to type something in the chat window, give this live stream a thumbs up, and share it on social media. In approximately 10.5 hours, we could return for another lesson and chanting as well as meditation and contemplation. Until then, may you and yours be happy and healthy. And if you are as geeky as me, this is the way.